Wait a minute. Enemy.
Jack,
You know what this is right here?
and then crushing.
This is a real final form.
Go cry me a river.
Well, Gotchard had, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best final form debut in a while. Not only the fight itself, but also like the build up to it. But the ending of the episode kind of left me with a slightly bitter, but also sweet taste in my mouth. And also, that's not Nijigan's Kamen. The main plot of the episode was pretty much Hotoro inside of the egg, which is also inside of himself. Nice. With Nijigan, at least the egg, tries to convince Hotoro that, hey, you don't need to go out of there. You can stay here and you can like enjoy life from the egg. It's your safe space. I'm not going to do the weird boomer shit. I'm 26. Tell you the truth, most of those boomers are probably talking about me. I don't know what I need to tell you. I don't care. Like, my safe space is my fucking room. No one fucking bothers me there. I prefer being there than at least for like an hour a day. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Really depends. I really like Nijigan because he feels way more like a real character. Because if you really think about it, he's that small emotion in your brain of like, yeah, I want to seclude myself and never get out. He's pretty much what, let's say, Hotoro would have listened to in the beginning of episode 37. Like, I would seclude myself. I would just run away and not try to fight because that's easier. And him actually like seeing other Kami fights because like he's literally a part of the Gotchard driver, which also makes sense why he, as when he kind of evolves outside of the egg, kind of needs to actually clank on the driver. He saw many like Kami get hurt. He saw a lot of Kami die. He saw Hotoro and his friends get hurt. So hey, like, you know, you can just stay here and not do anything because that's easier. And like that's kind of the big kind of plot of the episode is pretty much Nijigan and Hotoro kind of going through their battle with, I don't know, momentary depression. I don't really know how to kind of call it. It's very much like in the moment it's like, oh no, I can't really do anything. My friend's dead. It's my fault. And like Nijigan is like, yeah, like I get it. I've seen a lot of Kami get hurt. I've seen a lot of Kami die. I don't want that. I want maybe for us to like stay here because that's easy. Because here's the thing. Life is not about the easy choices you made because the easy choices most of the time lead to really bad decision making. And that's the point. And that's nice. And like that's a great way to kind of deal with loss. It's like, yeah, you need to seclude yourself for a bit. And that's like fine. Like you lose someone that you like, you lose someone that you love. That's the point. That's the purpose from, you know, to go and maybe seclude for a bit. But you need to go out. You need to talk to people. You need to kind of fight the battle. Fight the rest of your life. Because here is the thing. If you stay in one place, you're not going to move anywhere. Hotoro is not going to save the world, and to be completely honest, the other writers aren't really hanging out there very well without Hotoro. I just loved that even with Hotoro being the main theme of the show, being optimism and empathy, you can really see Nijigan really does empathize with Hotoro because you can see how much like you are hurt by, you know, Hotoro's, you are hurt by Hopper Once's death. And I get it. Like as a Kami, I get it. Let's just stay and that's easy. And here's the thing, Nijigan as like a Kami needs to, like at least when he in his egg form, he's quote unquote a child. So that's what a child would do. He would pick the easy path because yeah, like here's the thing, as a child, I'll do that too. Like I would just go seclude myself and just put myself in a corner and just like, I can't combat this. It's like, no, like in one point when you grow up, yeah, you could fight for shit, and that's what you need to do as a person, as an adult. You need to fight for what you believe in. It doesn't matter what it is in your personal life, but that's supposed to be a thing. Setbacks would always be there. You just need to like cling to the light and cling to optimism and cling to actual like empathy, because we should empathize with each other. Like fuck, like this world is dark and gloomy, and we should have a Hotoro in all of our lives. We should be a Hotoro in somebody else's life. How much, to be completely honest, there is kind of like a nitpick that I need to say, and that is Nijigon kind of calling a Hotoro a regular high school kid that doesn't know alchemy. Like, okay, to be honest, could be, and that could be like, oh, he doesn't know about Hotoro when he was young. So it's like, oh, we don't know the far knowledge that Nijigon has. Maybe Nijigon doesn't know what Hotoro actually sees. He pretty much just sees from the driver, which is fine. How much, again, he created the Gotchard igniter from alchemy. I'm just saying that makes sense. Like, I get like, oh, maybe he didn't know about, you know, when he was younger, he kind of created the goggles from pretty much nothing. Hotoro created the Gotchard igniter. Like, he used alchemy for it. So it's like, well, I don't really know how to kind of set that up. It's like, oh, maybe he forgot. That's fine. And having pretty much the rest of the episode be kind of situated with this, like, Hotoro being in the egg, Gigas is trying to actually get the power, while like Spanner is pretty much like, hey, no, fuck you, while like Gigas actually kind of like comes down and is like, oh no, I gave you my powers, you are my brethren, we are related. Like, that's so cool. Like, that gives Spanner more, because like, oh, he gave him his powers. So it's like, how much Gigas really ties back to the Academy? How much Gigas and his creation of the first two chemis were tied back in? Like, that's super interesting, because that could go many different ways. I'm not saying I created Spanner. Spanner is just a bunch of like clones. Please don't do that, Gotchard. Don't Makoto Spanner, an actually like interesting character, and having Gigas kind of like coming in and just like, okay, I'm kind of like bored of finding new Spanner, so I would just pull 6 chemis out of nowhere and just create amalgam. Like, people would say he, you know, pulled that shit out of his ass, but the truth, he is practically a god. So does it really matter? I'm not going to elaborate. But the thing that I love the most about this episode, outside of like the main plot, is Renee being down, like kicking herself in the head, pretty much like, yeah, it's kind of my fault. My dad created a Gotchard driver, he gave it to Hotoro, it's all my family's fault. Like, I'm defeated without really being actually physically defeated. Like, that's so interesting, and that's such a nice little spotlight on Renee, because Renee as a character, outside of like the Romeo and Juliet like two-parter, kind of got shunned, because like the Romeo and Juliet two-parter was like, what, like episode 30 and 31. Yep. She was that kind of, let's say, not important for a long ass time, but like having her have this moment was great, and giving Renge like a moment, because like if you really think about it, Renge kind of wasn't as important since like episode like 29. So it's like, oh, that's sad. It's like, hey, like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, I actually look up to you. Like, you are here actually fighting. You're doing this as a junior. I actually respect you. Hotoro wouldn't want you to just sit down and moan and kind of pone and like, oh, I don't know if I should do this anymore. This is my fault. This is not what Hotoro wants. Go there and kick some ass. That was like great for Renge as a character, and it was terrific for Rene to come in and help Spanner. How much in the end they did get their asses kicked, but hey, she was very happy to watch a Rainbow Gotchard. and that was a good fucking time. If I could actually kind of returned into the egg, I kind of like the moment where you can see how much of like Nagaji and Nijigon, I'm sorry, like I'm going to learn the name. Nijigon is kind of can manipulate the egg and like create its own environment, kind of like how X-Wizard can do it from the Gotchard movie that I'm going to talk about. I hope very soon. Oh boy, I hope it's going to be very soon. But I really liked it, and it kind of almost gave me like this small glimmer of hope, because like you see Hotoro's mom, and it's like, oh, she's gonna talk. No, she doesn't. It's just a copy. But oh boy, that weird omelet thing is certainly interesting. It's very blue. Blue. But in the end, and I love that in the moment, it's like Gigist is pretty much like shunned away. Everybody's like, hey, we don't have the money for the rain machine anymore, or fucking skew off. Leave. When you have that, and you kids, and he comes in and try to reach the egg hatches, and it just flies away. A bunch of fucking rainbow just flies away. It clears the fucking rain machine. We don't have any more money. Fucking cut down the fucking tank. Cut the fish.
Cut the fucking cameras.
You guys have got to be kidding me.
That's the line. That's the thing.
And then we got the best form debut that we had since, I don't fucking know, probably Gates 9. That fight was cool. And like that fight scene was so fucking cool. It finally made Hotoro like he was fighting in the Gates Summer movie. He actually like fucking used quote unquote alchemy. Is this what it takes us to actually have Hotoro the main Kamen Rider of Kamen Rider Gotchard? The show that one of the main theme of power sets. I'm not going to say alchemy is the main theme of the show, because it's not. It's just the main like theme of the power set. It's literally the main power set. How about it is Pokemon, but still have the final form do that, which could still tie it back into like, oh, Hotoro in the Daybreak timeline like knew how to do alchemy because, hey, maybe Fuga didn't erase his brain or anything, didn't erase his memories, so he could have continued to do alchemy. But like now it's like, oh, he's like one with Nijigon, and like he kind of gets how to do it. It's like, oh, it's almost like cooking. That's cool. And he gets a really cool rider kick. That was nice. And for a glimpse, for like a little glimmer of, oh, sadistic hope, when he defeats the amalgam. Like I was like, oh my god, they're going to kill all of those new Kamis. They didn't. Sadly, they didn't. Sadly / happily, they didn't, because I don't know, it could have been funny. It could have been funny though. But that was great. But then here comes the ending of the episode. Here's the thing. I am kind of in this crossroad, because I believe that all of the Kamis that died in the last 2 episodes should have maybe stayed dead for an arc. Because here's the thing, all of the Kamis, all 3 of them, returned to life because of Hotoro's like big rainbow blast. I just like think that Hotoro, like giving him like an actual arc of like, oh my god, I get alchemy. Alchemy is like cooking. Having him slowly develop the golden flower to revive the Kamis could have been a more interesting story than just, oh, let's just revive them. Like, it could be more interesting that if, let's say, Gigas is actually going to use more berserk amalgams, so like it just was a one-time thing, so it's just pure of the first transformation. He blasted that big wave attack that revived all the dead Kamis, and then after subsequent like changes to Rainbow Gotchard doesn't really need to do that, so the Kamis need to stay dead, which still kind of does a lot of an interesting thing. They could have like killed, like, let's say Abure Bushido, because like, I think Abure Bushido as a Kami kind of got way more of a character progression than like Skiabo and, you know, End Trooper, because like if you really think about it, End Trooper wasn't really a part of the Restore End Trooper form debut. It was way more Restore G, which, fuck, if they would kill Restore G, that would be kind of sadistically amazing towards me, but I don't know. I think this is the one thing about this episode that I didn't really like. Again, because I truly believe that Hotoro actually striving to get to like crack the code of how to create the golden flower could have been an interesting character progression and could have been kind of an interesting kind of side arc for him than just, oh, I need to fight Gigist, because like fighting Gigist is a part of your job as the main teacher or writer. So giving him two fins could have been nice, but yeah, like overall, like it could have gotten an S. It could have genuinely, if they would have kept the Kemi's dead, it not only would have given this episode an S, it would have given it an S plus in my opinion. But sadly, just with that, it's like, like I wish you would have kept the Kemi's dead. It gets an A plus. So yeah, let's talk forms. I fucking love Rainbow Gotchard. I don't get the hate on it. Like, I get it, it's not as like slick and slightly more complex as like, let's say, you know, like Gits 9 or Ultimate Revise 02. Like, Cross Saber is cool, Cross Saber is purely a repaint. It's a nice repaint, but it's purely a repaint. I think Rainbow Gotchard is really cool. The shoulder pads are weird. I don't know, like I thought, like when I saw it for the first time, it's like, oh my god, that's an egg. Oh, they're going to come out of Kamen. They didn't. I genuinely thought like there's going to be a big egg drop on him. And he just opens up. Hey, it's another fucking reference they could do. They could, I don't know, have fucking Legend transform to Kachidoki arms and just have big egg, big orange. But yeah, I fucking love it. I love the color scheme. Like at first, like I thought that the visor is cool. It still is. It's weirdly trippy because like I thought it's going to be a lot more flat, but it's not. It's actually like has some dimensions to it. It's weird looking. I don't know, but I like it. I like kind of like it almost have a mohawk like Nijigon has. So yeah, now I'm kind of thinking about it, which is kind of funny. I don't know where I'm going to put this, but I'm probably going to put this after the suit talk. This episode is literally close beat to Gits' 9 debut. Our main writer being in a coma or, you know, just in an egg, kind of talking to himself and then realizing what they need to do after a long conversation with themselves, and they get the final form. I don't believe that was Revice's thing. I just believe it's weirdly the weird coincidences between like those two writer shows back to back having almost parallels to like the final forms being kind of similar with, you know, the main writer's kind of like very close personal friend or mom dies. He kind of from that kind of like activates a new power set that he has because of that moment, and then he kind of goes to a coma. Yeah, what you think about episode 38 of Kamen Gotchard? Comment below, let me know. If you liked the video, please smash that like button. If you liked it even more and you like the shit that I'm spewing out of my mouth, subscribe to my channel. Smash that subscribe button. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.